Hi, everyone. And thanks for the introduction. And again, thank you for having me here. Um, I what a spiritual guide said to me once, actually an Akashic Records reader that actually was available to all employees when I worked at EILEEN Fisher. In one of our sessions, she said to me, "Your mission in this lifetime, your soul's mission, is to be a covert operative, bringing spirituality into organizational systems and hypermasculine systems." And as we're in this conversation today, I'm just my heart is in the Middle East right now, as I think about what's happening in Israel and what's happening between and what's going on over there. And where I was thinking of having this conversation be about this idea of movement um, from love with conditions to unconditional love, the power of compassion. What's really sitting with me at the moment is this notion of compassionate bridge building across division. Now, and where I come to this from is my journey, as you were just saying, Katerina, is leaving from Wall Street, um, coming to work at EILEEN Fisher, where so much of my transformation journey happened, which led me to seminary and then my work with police and military. So I'll just start there with, I was a Wall Street guy. I was a college professor. I was on paper doing all the right things. And in my life, my personal life, I was a mess. And at 40, I had just realized that I had lost my heart, my soul, and my work. And I was really, in the book that I just wrote, the main character of my book in terms of a man who was suffering. So on my 40th birthday, I resigned from my job. And then within 2 weeks, this opportunity at EILEEN Fisher came along. EILEEN Fisher, for those of you that don't know, is a women's fashion company that is very conscious, and some would say embraces spirituality at work. But it was on my first day that really changed the trajectory of my life. Now, I had just gone through to get the job an 8-month interview. And on my first day after getting the job, my two bosses sat me down and they said to me, "Sean, we want to just acknowledge you for the interview and that you've proven yourself in the interview. We now want you to stop proving yourself and we want you to learn who you actually are. We want you to learn who you are authentically. When we hired you and when you interviewed with us, you showed us your heart and you showed us your polish. We want to see more of your heart and less of your polish. We want to see you unfiltered." And that was really a moment of permission. And over the 5 years that I worked for EILEEN Fisher, the culture was pretty incredible and transformative. And what I noticed in a company that was 83% women, that the 17% of the men who were in the organization were transforming through this feminine energied organization. And the company sent me to an artist commune in Canada for 5 months to learn how to incorporate the arts into creative facilitation. And it was there that I heard the call to work with men. And I didn't want to work with men. I left Wall Street, so I never had to work with men again. And I ended up coming to EILEEN Fisher and hearing this call. And I knew that if as systems are crumbling around us, and we were going to really help to create societal systems change, one of the things that needed to really be focused on is helping men heal, men in power holding on to power, oftentimes holding it from a place of wounding, not a place of healing. And that healing is a powerful place to be able to start to see transformation. And I knew this work had to be done at a soul level. And so I, at that point, decided to go to seminary and become an interfaith minister to do my inner work, to be able to hold men at a soul level. And at the time that I went to seminary, I went through a 2-year program in New York City. When I finished, 2 days after I said my vows and 2 days before I graduated, I got a video, and it was and I was moving from East Harlem, New York to West Asheville, North Carolina. Two very polar opposite types of environments. And when I went to Asheville, actually 2 days after I said my vows, I received a video, and it was the chief of police of Asheville. And they were looking to reform the police department. And they asked, if you are a member of the community and want to be part of our police reform efforts, please email me directly and reach out. And the next morning I did, because in seminary they say when you hear the call, you say yes no matter what. What that led to was, well, we didn't do work with the Asheville Police Department because they lost 80 officers in 6 months to retirements and resignations. A group of us organically found each other and formed something called Project Compassion, which is to deepen the level of compassion in police departments across the country, which is now a national initiative. And one of the most significant points in the journey for me was when I was able to, when we actually had a meeting a week after the Uvalde shooting with Senate staffers on the Judiciary Committee. And our conversation in 30 minutes focused on men's mental health, mass shootings, gun violence, police shootings, police suicides, and veteran suicides. And it was in that conversation I realized the magnitude of the work, the magnitude of the work of helping men heal. Now, working with, and where that's led is, as you said, working with police and military. What that also has led to is the work I do now with white nationalists and far-right extremists around soul healing. I remember my first interaction with a white nationalist, and I thought we were having a great conversation, and he was doing mindfulness and consciousness work with veterans. And at a certain point, he just asked me to take a photo, and as he did, he flashed the white nationalist symbol in the photo, and I was like, oh, I did not see that coming. When I had a conversation with him at another point and said, I think that I will be working with a number of white nationalists who are in the military and police departments. We had a uncomfortable 45-second moment of silence. And in that moment, I asked myself, who do I need to be in this moment? And in that moment, my progressive side took a back seat. My social justice side took a back seat. And I went into the fact that I'm an interfaith minister. And the focus of that conversation shifted to love, compassion, and deeper humanity. It kept him in the conversation. We had some powerful insights. It wasn't about converting. It wasn't about wronging. Our belief systems are our belief systems. But it was about being able to come to that place of, what is the message of love? What is the message of compassion? And what does it mean for us to look at each other from our place of deeper humanity? And now, as a queer progressive minister who was in New York for 19 years, who now works primarily with white nationalists, far-right extremists in right-wing conservative environments. The work that is so fundamental for me is how we do the compassionate bridge building work across division. What does it take to build the bridges and have the conversations that we're not having? What does it take to see each other in our humanity, to love each other in our humanity, even when we disagree or our viewpoints are diametrically opposed? How can we continue to hold each other from a place of unconditional love so that we can come to a place of common understanding? This is where the journey has taken me. And as I think about the insights that have come through, that have deepened my spirituality and my faith, the first is, I believe our work is to do our inner work, to do our work to discover our truth. Then the next step is to then seek to understand and see and witness others in their truth, beyond the protective layers, beyond the masks, the facades, to be able to create the space for the vulnerability, the realness of who each of us are, and then to accept our truth as true. Not that one truth is right and one truth is wrong. And our ability then to be able to see each other in a new way. And the work I do with men, another insight that's come through is, part of the journey is that we witness and we see each other in our humanity. We are mirrors of our humanity for each other. And often for the men that I work with, the men that I see, I think, the statistics show how the number of men who are suffering, but suffering in silence. And especially in many of these communities where there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of deep wounds that I often say come from faulty teachings and toxic conditioning. And at the same time, it creates a life of suffering, conscious or unconscious. So I often say, not that I meet men where they are, but that I meet them in their suffering. I listen for their yearning, and I offer hope in the midst of both. Because I think where we are today, the thing that many people are missing or don't have access to is a sense of hope. And my hope in as we are spiritual beings out there in the world, that we can offer and help each other navigate the world from a place of truth and from a place of what I like to call our inner compass or sacred compass. And that wisdom that is within us, the insights that are within us, that come when we are able to hear the messages from within. And that's the opportunity for us to connect on a deeper level, to connect from a place of deeper consciousness. And I think we're at a point in time where we're moving from this idea of individual consciousness to collective consciousness, to allow a collective wisdom to emerge. So we try to navigate the world and solve our increasingly complex challenges. And so I would say that the opportunity before us is, how do we come into the work to discover our truth? And while my book is and my work up to this point is geared towards men, it's really for anyone. Yet, when we think about it, men often have the least access to this type of work, either for the reason of stigma, opportunity, or access, or knowing that it's available. And so to give this attention to men, but there's a universality in the healing journey. My belief is by giving attention to helping men heal, we then plant the seeds for greater healing in the world. And with that, I will close, and we can go from there.